Hello and welcome. We appreciate you joining us here today. We will be getting started right at the half-hour mark, so get that last second coffee refill or snack, and we will see you in about 5 minutes time. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Today's webinar is all about GiveSmart Donor CRM and how it can help you steward, thank, and retain your donors. So let's go ahead and get started and introduce both of our team members today. So joining us, we have myself. My name is Madison Koutman, and I am a marketing campaign manager for GiveSmart. And then also joining us as our expert today is Nikki, and she's GiveSmart Senior Product Manager and one of the founders of the CRM. So thank you so much, Nikki, for joining us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, so some housekeeping tips as we get going. Feel free to use the Q&A box that you'll find at the bottom of the Zoom window for any questions you might have as we go. I will be moderating questions as Nikki goes through topics on the CRM and a CRM demo, and then also check your chat box for resources that we will be sharing throughout the session. So we'll have lots of links and things to share with you. So make sure you're keeping updated on that. Also, our colleague Megan is helping us out on the back end. So keep those questions coming. She will be helping to monitor us today. Also, today's call is being recorded and the recording will be shared with everyone attending. So sit back, relax, take some notes if you want to. And Nikki, I'll let you take it away with the agenda.
Thanks, Madison. So today we're going to be going over what GiveSmart is, GiveSmart Donor CRM, and how it can help your nonprofit. We'll leave some time to go through the system as well as questions and answers towards the end. I do want to give everyone 2 heads up here. I do have a dog and I apologize in advance if he starts barking, but I've done my best to make sure he'll stay quiet. Don't know how long that squeaky toy will survive though. And also, I'm horrible at monitoring questions. I know both of my colleagues are on the line helping to assist, but if I don't answer your question, it's not because I'm ignoring you. I just haven't seen it. We'll do our best to get all of the questions, or at least connect you to the right resource towards the end of this session today. So GiveSmart Donor CRM. There's a new way forward with fundraising and plenty of options to meet your donors where they are. We want to hear from you. In the chat, let us know what your donor management experience is. What problems are you running into? What are you currently using to track your donors? And what features do you feel you need to be successful? So I'll give everyone a moment here. If you are currently using a donor management software, I'd love to see in the chat box what all of those systems are. And while we're waiting for some of those answers to come in, just talking a little bit about what donor management software can do for you. Donor management software can really help you maintain your donor cultivation life cycle. So identifying your donors, research and qualification, cultivation solicitation, and finally stewardship. So I see a lot of great answers coming in here. One of the things that I would also like to point out about GiveSmart Donor CRM is a bit of the background. So GiveSmart Donor CRM was acquired by Community Brands, the company behind the software, and that was back in March. Prior to the acquisition, my partner, John Biederman, and I founded what we at the time called Simply Fundraising CRM, which is now GiveSmart Donor CRM. Between the two of us, we had about 45 or so years of experience in the fundraising industry, both on the nonprofit employee side and on the nonprofit software expert side. So the software that you're going to see today was really built by fundraisers for fundraisers. So whoopsies, let's go. Is this going too fast here? No, we're on the right side. Okay, so the average nonprofit has a donor retention rate that hovers between 40 and 42%. This is really important. We're going to come back and revisit this figure later on in our conversation today, but I do want to point that out and have everybody keep it in the back of their mind. So the average retention rate being 40 to 42%, and we'll talk a little bit about why that number is important and how donor management software can help you improve that number. As we move through the demonstration today, we're going to spend some time talking about Donor Score, which is our Smart Donor Score, which is powered by Donor Search. And we'll spend some time talking about how you can communicate to your donors directly from within the system. So let's get into it. All right. This is the dashboard of your donor management software. Now, I have a quick poll for everyone here. I mentioned that the average donor retention rate is about 42%. If you could let me know what your donor retention rate is, that will really help guide our conversation today. So it looks like most people do not know what their donor retention rate is, which is great. this is a great place to start. If you use a donor management software, any good donor management software should be able to help you figure out what that donor retention rate is. But I do see of the people who do know what their donor retention rate is, we are hovering right around that 40%. So right in the middle there. So that's great news. Now, as we get into the software here, I do want to point out on the dashboard, our donor management software will tell you right away what your donor retention rate is. Now, this is a fake system, so of course our rates are going to be excellent, but keep in mind this is where you're going to find that information. But more importantly than donor retention, we also have the ability to identify our donor annual revenue retention rate. So between these two numbers, I can tell of the donors who donated to me last year, how many of them are donating to me again this year, and of those donors who donated to me, how much of that money am I keeping? Am I raising more from the same people, less from the same people? Am I staying right on target? So this will give me a nice screenshot wherever I am compared to the year prior. And it does display beautifully from a phone. So if you need to pull it up for a board meeting on the fly, you do have that access. We can also see how much has been raised. Some key statistics here as recommended by the AFPFEP, that stands for the Association of Fundraising Professionals Fundraising Effectiveness Project. I like to think of this as everything you need when you walk into a board meeting, right there, front and center, again, accessible right from your phone, as this is a mobilely optimized solution. You have some quick actions here to invite people to use your system, add a new contact, or record a gift. Scrolling down, you'll see your most recent donors, your activities. Now, this is great for anybody who does any kind of grant management. If you have any grant reports that are due or personal visits, you can see your year-over-year comparison. And finally, your donor heat map to identify where your donors are based on your current location. Now, as we start using the software here, the first thing we're going to do is pop over to search. I'd like to point out the search bar on this software because, believe it or not, searching for donors is one of the #1 biggest complaints users have of donor management software. So how did we address that? How did we make it easier? Well, we made search function just as user-friendly as Google. So if it exists within the system, search for it. I'm going to start by searching for Harry, and I can butcher his name and I'll still find Harry Potter. I can search for Voldemort, and the system is smart enough to show me Tom Riddle, as well as anybody else who has any kind of association with Voldemort. You're not limited to searching for donors or constituents. I can also do a quick search for a $5,000 gift. Let's say somebody wrote me a check for $5,000 earlier in the day. I walked away from my computer to have lunch, came back, and I could not remember who made that major donation. Well, I searched for 5,000 and I can see all of the gifts that came in. Additionally, the search bar is smart, so it will show you results based on your recently accessed contacts or how you tend to search. So for now, let's pop on over to Harry Potter's record and explore a little bit here. Smart donor score. So I mentioned this a few moments ago. This is powered by donor search, as well as the information that's within your database. This number here, this 80.3, is calculated by information within your database, and it is unique to you. Now, this number is basically how interactive this donor is with you, with your organization, not just by how much they give to you, but also how many interactions they have with you. So I like to refer to this number as the heart. Down here, we do have a couple of donor search details. So this is included with every single system. Everyone will have access to this. I'll need you to use your imagination just a bit here, since Harry Potter isn't a real person and we are pulling up some bogus numbers here. But if Harry Potter was a real person, his donor search rating is a rating that ranges between DS1-1 to 5-5. The first number tells you how likely this person is a match based on the information in donor search. So for example, if I just had a John Smith but no address, it's probably not going to be a very good match. But if I have a John Smith and an address that matches everything that donor search has, then that will be a good match. The second number tells us of this person's ability to make donations in the past. So not just to your organization, but to other organizations as a whole. So I can tell if this person is a match and if this person is a hot prospect for me. Moving down here, I will receive an estimated gift capacity for a one-time gift ask that I can make based on what this donor has given to another organization. The idea here being if Harry Potter gives us $100 every year, maybe he gives the SPCA $1,000 every year, I would see that $1,000 estimated gift capacity because the SPCA has it, even though we don't have it. So that lets me know that Harry is capable of asking for more, and it is worth my time to invest in a relationship with Harry so I can start making a larger, more educated ask as we develop a relationship. We do have...
Hey, I have a question for you real quick that just came up. So going back to the smart donor search, just before we get too far away from it, we had someone ask, can you search by email or mailing address also when searching for a donor in the system?
Yes, great question. You can, as long as the information is within your database, you can search for it. So it is an index search and it is searching off of anything within the system here.
Thank you.
But awesome question. Love it. Keep those questions coming. Scrolling down, we do have some key points here. So you know at a glance just how nice you should be to this donor. The last gift they gave, the total number of gifts they've given, the average gift amount, and their lifetime total giving. Scrolling down further, this stuff is pretty standard if you've seen a donor management software before, so I won't spend a ton of time here, but I do like to point out that we have tags, or what some people like to refer to as attributes. So it's just another way to segment your donors, and it's a multi-coded field. So somebody can have more than one tag, and you can have as many different kinds of tags as you want. These are just a couple of examples. You don't have to use what we have in here, but it's a great way to quickly pull a list of board members or volunteers or major donors to shoot off an email to. We do have different contact methods, different addresses, and some space for custom fields as well. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and add a gift to Harry's system. I'm going to start by clicking on the gifts tab, and I can see his entire giving history here. I can sort on this, and this chart is customizable. So if I wanted to see different fields here, I can do that. But let's go ahead and add a gift to Harry's record. And the system flags us down right away and lets us know that Harry does have open pledges. So it wants to know if we should apply this gift to an existing pledge, or is this a new gift? I know it's a new gift, so I'm going to click that. And we can see we have all different types of gifts here. Now, when we were developing this software, we thought the next biggest thing people complain about is gift entry and well, data entry in general. So how can we make data entry more digestible? What we did was, although data entry has a ton of fields and screens, and it's all very well and good and important, not everything is always applicable to every situation. So we've broken down gift entry into bite-sized pieces, so you only see what's relevant when it's relevant, and the information that you see changes depending on the type of gift that you're adding. So for example, if I were to add a stock gift, I might see details like what's the value of the stock now, what's the value at sell date, et cetera, but I'm not going to see those fields when I'm adding a cash or check gift. So we'll add cash or check, and we'll plug in this gift, and we'll make it for $650. We have our solicitation method, which let's choose the end of year owl post, and our general ledger. Again, these are all custom codes that are going to be specific to each user. So you're not limited to what you see here, but everybody knows unrestricted is the best kind of gift. So let's stick with that. We can choose our thank you letter method, email, snail mail, both or neither. I'm going to choose both for the sake of example. And we do have alternate address capability. So if I had more than one member within this household and I wanted to acknowledge a different member within the household, or if Harry had a vacation home and I wanted to make sure this was going there, or his work address, I can select the address that I want. But for now, we're going to stick with the original. Likewise with email address. Clicking on next, I'll see the nice to have fields. I forgot to mention the previous screen was your need to haves, but these are your nice to have. So you might not always have a campaign associated with your gift, but in this case, we'll click that. If there is a solicitor, how about my personal favorite, Miracle Max? And any notes you'd like to add in about the gift. So if there was a check number, you could plug that in here. If the gift was in kind, what was the item that was donated? If the gift was in memory of or honor of, any details that you want to type in. Now, this goes back to the question asked earlier about that email, being able to search for different things. Searching in the database is indexed. Anything in your notes is searchable. So if you type in memorial gift in your notes when you're entering the gift, and then later you search for your memorial gifts here, guess what's going to show up? So searching is next level, unlike any other donor management software out there. Special event details and other custom fields come up on the next screen. They don't really apply in this situation, so I'll breeze past them. And then we've got a summary here. Eyeballing it, make sure it all looks good. Now you come to the next item that John and I decide, how can we make donor management softwares more enjoyable? Well, we can celebrate with you whenever you move the needle in the right direction. So the system will give you a certain amount of fireworks for a certain amount of gift. The larger the gift, the more fireworks and confetti you get. Now I'm going to pause here and ask another question of everybody. How quickly do you send, or how frequently do you send out your thank you letters? You guys are on fire answering these questions very quickly. So it looks like we've got a good mix here between daily, weekly, monthly, and once every blue moon. Nice job, guys. But the bulk of our gifts are being thanked weekly. Cool. So I'll stop sharing those, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that donor retention rate and your thank you letters. So earlier I mentioned the average donor retention rate is 42%. How do I explain this effectively? What if I told you you could increase your donor retention rate to 60% just by doing one thing? That one thing is thanking your donors the same day the gift is received. Now, why is that important? Why is it greater to have a higher donor retention rate than a lower retention rate, other than the obvious? Everyone likes big numbers. Let's think about it in terms of lifetime donor value. So if you have a donor who on average, or your average donor gives $1,000 per year at a donor retention rate of 42%, that means each of your donors is worth about $1,600. Now, if you can increase your donor retention rate to 60%, that same average donor who gives $1,000 per year now has a lifetime value of $2,500. So almost $1,000 more per donor within your database, just by thanking your donors the same day the gift is received. So while it's great to see those weekly and monthly thank you letters going out, which is awesome, you always thank your donors, you can never thank them too much. The best thing you could do for yourself and for your organization is to thank those donors immediately. And how are we going to do that when you're already so busy making positive changes in the world? Well, use your donor management software, lean on your donor management software. Let's get those thank yous done quickly. So I'm going to pop on over and thank this donor, this Harry Potter donor here. As you can see, I've got a couple of gifts pending here. And because Harry donated and wanted to be thanked by both letter and email, I have 2 items for him in here. I'm also going to choose this letter from Ron, and we'll choose this letter from Hermione, just for the sake of example. Now over here, we have lots of different thank you letter templates. You can create as many as you like. Template creation is super straightforward and easy. And merge fields are as simple as typing in the pound key and choosing the field you want. So everything is done internally. You don't need any external software. You can print these out via Word, via Google Docs, whatever your preference is, but everything happens directly within the system. No need to leave the software. So now that we've got our people ready to be thanked, I'll go ahead and click on preview for thank you letters. And because I had 4 selected, these are the 4 we've got right here. I've got one for Harry. That's the letter that we're thanking right now. I've got the email for Harry ready to go out. I've got a letter going out for Hermione. And actually, I have Hermione and Ron listed under the same, so that's why we got her twice. So let's go ahead and click on next step and confirm. Oh, I should point out, let's say, looking at this one, this isn't right. Hermione didn't send a $0 gift. I could go back in and change this if I wanted to, or maybe if I wanted to go in and say, this was supposed to say your in-kind donation of the wine basket will help us raise more money in the upcoming auction. Let's get coffee soon. Save that one. So now this particular letter has been adjusted so that I can make that quick change without impacting the other letters. Next step, confirm and send. First, we're going to be sending out one thank you letter email, and then we'll be creating 3 snail mails. We'll click on next. The first email was sent, and we're creating that PDF document now. So we'll go ahead and download that. That's ready to go. Do we want to print envelopes? Yes, of course. Why not? Let's do it. Just like before, I can make adjustments to this template here. I can choose the size of my envelope or a specific template if I wanted. If I wanted to put a return address here or some sort of imagery, I can do that as well. Go ahead and hit next, print our envelopes, download that, click this right here, and I've got my letters from before. There's that adjusted one for Hermione. And then over here, I've got my envelopes ready to go. So I can print those off quickly. And then if I pop on over to my inbox here, there's my thank you letter email confirmation. Oops. So from here, I do want to pop more fireworks for us. Woohoo, yay, we're thanking our people. From here, I'm going to pop over to collect donations. Earlier, I was talking about sending off brief communications to groups of people. We do have the ability to query within your donor database. It is straightforward and easy. You can also save filters to be used later. So let's say I did a filter for all of my donors from this year. Apply that. And, the more I think about it, I don't really want to contact the people who just made a donation. I want to contact everybody else, but sometimes it's easier to query for the people who I don't want to contact than it is to query for the people who I do want to contact. So all I have to do here is click invert filter, apply, and now I get everybody else on the list, all of the people who didn't make a donation this year, and I don't have to run another query. It's all right there, just inverting the filter. The other option I have, if I wanted to pull a tag like before, maybe I just wanted to reach out to my volunteers, or maybe my volunteers and my board members and shoot them all. Oops, do my volunteers, select all, and do my board members. Select all. So now I've got 6 people on my list who are to receive some communication from me. I can make adjustments if I wanted to request a donation during this email. I can do so. I'm not going to for the sake of example, but I just want to point out we do have the ability to request donations when you're doing communications. Then you can adjust your communication just like before. We do have the ability to write your communication in HTML. So for those of you who do prefer a little bit more of a marketer's touch, the ability to make those changes is in here. And then moving forward, I can also configure the email so that I can adjust what that donor experience looks like. Moving through, just like before, I can make adjustments to single letters if I wanted to. Maybe I wanted to add something a little bit more personal to Harry's. And then, like I was saying before, if we wanted to ask for a donation, we can. And then I could shoot off 6 donation requests if I was asking for a donation, or I can send out a communication any way I want to. And I should point out that we do have the ability to have multiple um, different templates. So you can save all of your templates and pop through different templates when you're writing those emails.
Hey, Nikki, we had a question come in. Is there a limit on the number of emails that can be sent?
No, there's not. So go crazy. So that's all I had planned to show for today. Let me switch on back over to our slide deck here. So many of you on the line are already using GiveSmart Fundraise or GiveSmart Events, formerly Mobile Cause and GiveSmart. So now we've really pulled the whole ship together, all three key pieces. So you can raise money from your preferred method, you can raise money through events, and you can bring everything back together into your donor CRM, where you can maintain that cultivation, solicitation, and stewardship cycle.
Absolutely. And so as we go into our last couple of slides before answering a couple questions, if we have a few more come in, I wanted to take a quick pause and have you guys answer one more poll. Just if you're interested in learning more about GiveSmart Donor CRM, or any of GiveSmart's other features, let us know right here. You will also have an opportunity to complete a post-webinar survey. So let us know there as well as any feedback you have about today. We're really interested in hearing what you have to say, what features you might be interested in. If you are interested in enhancing your use of mobile bidding, ticketing, event management, donor management, let us know. I used to be a previous customer. I can speak to how successful I was using GiveSmart, and it's why I joined this team. So if you have any questions for us, just let us know. I will go ahead and end that poll so that we can jump into our questions.
Sorry, I'm moving too fast here.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Let's see. We had someone mention that they were sort of new to their organization, new to gaining donors. So as far as acquiring donors, getting them into the system, and improving those retention rates, do you have any advice that you would like to share? I know that's kind of a loaded question, but might be good to touch on sort of getting started with the system as well.
Sure. And can I just ask you to repeat the question?
Yeah, we had someone say that they are sort of new to their organization, new to gaining donors, getting donors into the system, things like that. So your advice as far as gaining new donors, getting them into the system, and starting with the system brand new.
Got it. So that's a great question. One of the things that we kept coming back to, John and I kept coming back to while we were building the software and learning how this could be the most effective tool for people or for fundraisers. The theme that kept surfacing was that leaning on similar organizations, leaning with that community-centric fundraising model is really the best way to not only move yourself forward, but to move the nonprofit community forward and to rally donors together. So it's kind of like a hive mindset. But really leaning on people who you already know in maybe your organization or different organizations or in similar organizations, reaching out on LinkedIn, joining different groups and connecting with different people, and not trying to start from the ground up, trying to build on what's already there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really, really solid advice. And one last question before we move on. And I know that there's a lot going on in the future of integration between GiveSmart Fundraise, Events, and CRM, which GiveSmart Fundraise was formerly known as Mobile Cause. So GiveSmart now has these three systems coming together to work powerfully for all of our customers. So if someone has an event through Mobile Cause, or I'm sorry, GiveSmart Fundraise or GiveSmart Events, do they need to export from those systems to get their donors into CRM, or how does that integration work? Or, because we know behind the scenes a little bit more, what does the future of that integration look like, or the timeline?
This is one of my favorite questions, so thank you to the asker. So for the current immediate moment right now, it is an import-export or an export-import process. So once your event is over, you'll export the information and then you'll be able to import it into GiveSmart Donor CRM. We are working with different people to streamline that process and make it as painless and seamless as possible for the user. The next step from there is building on that integration, which is already in the works. I unfortunately don't have a timeline. We're still researching the ins and outs of what needs to occur in order to make that the best integration possible. But the future is pretty much, each system should be reading the minds of the other systems. So a one and done type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great answer. And so I know that we're about a minute over on time, so we can go ahead and wrap up. We do have a couple other questions that came in, but we can follow up with you separately. I've written down some people to follow up with. So thank you so much for your engagement, for your questions. And just to touch on our final slide here, we do have a promotion going on right now. So if you would like to know more about GiveSmart, let us know in that post-webinar survey. We also have the poll from earlier, so we will be reaching out, but we do have a promotion right now that if you sign up with GiveSmart today, you don't have to pay any software fees until 2023. So you can really kickstart that fall and holiday fundraising and get your fundraising goals met for 2022 before we jump into 2023. So with that, thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you, Nikki, for extending your expertise to us all. This was a really, really great demo, and we hope that you guys learned a lot and you're very interested in GiveSmart CRM because there's a lot that it has to offer for your organization. So with that, we will see you later.
Bye, everyone.